Hello and welcome to a vintage cube draft. Nothing incredible in this pack to start, but there's some solid options. I think both of these lands are first pickable. Not as good as fetch lands, but they're still solid. You could maybe first pick a troll. It's also kind of like a fetch land with additional synergies if you have Animate Dead or that sort of card in your deck. But I think I'm going to take the Skull Clamp here. Very, very powerful, a bit of a build around. It's at its best typically in white decks, but there's a lot of different builds where this is good, including with Nadu. So I think we will be taking that. I really like how this plays with Cloud. Cloud can search up this, then you equip it, it dies, draws you 4 cards immediately, and you get to keep the Skull Clamp in play. Alright, I think we're going to take a Felia here. Blue-white is a solid color combination, but I'm not going to take the blue-white land over a really good threat. We also just passed blue-white land. Quantum Riddler is also a really good card, but yeah, let's just take the Felia. Very good pickup. Interesting. So, there's Fractured Identity. Could just take that. We just passed 2 blue-white lands, though, is the problem. I think I'm just going to take the Wandering Emperor. I'm also tempted by this Rogran Triumph, but if we just pass, like, 2 blue-white lands and a Fractured Identity, I just don't think I really want to try to go into blue-white now. I mean, maybe all that stuff comes around, which would be awesome, but that's not super likely. We could still take the Rogran Triumph to potentially splash red, but at that point, maybe I'd rather just take the Flame Slash and disregarding all of that, like, none of these cards are that exciting outside of the Fractured, so I'm just going to take the card that's in the colors we're very likely to be playing. It's a good card, too. I mean, it doesn't necessarily work with Skull Clamp in that it doesn't make 1 power creatures that die to it, but still. We're just seeing all the blue-white stuff. Tempting me for sure, but I think I'm, yet again, just going to take the white card, take the Council's Judgment. If all this blue-white stuff comes around, maybe we'll go in that direction, but honestly, blue-white is not even really, like, we have good card draw from the Clamp. We don't need blue card draw. We kind of just want, like, pressure and interaction, which blue doesn't really add as well. Alright, think it's a pretty easy Arid Mesa here. Not loving the fact that I'm not seeing any white cards in this pack, but Arid Mesa is a great pickup no matter what. Now there's Thalia, which we could take, but we're a little light on creatures at the moment. Could take Firebolt, could also take Rafine's Tower, which I kind of like here. I mean, these red cards are fine. We could take that and try to go into Boros, but like seeing this land go so late is potentially good. And I also really like how Felia plays with Overlord. Like Felia is better in black-white than other color combinations, I think. Yeah, we'll go for this. Wow, okay, late Stoneforge. Also a GT, but yeah, I'll definitely take Stoneforge. That's amazing. We have Clamp already, and it's early in the draft, so we can likely get some other good equipment too. Very, very nice pickup. Now I think it's Portable Hole over Elspeth. Elspeth is good with Clamp and is just like a solid card all around, but I want to keep the curve down, get some cheap interaction. Portable Hole seems really nice. Interesting. So we wheel Chainsaw, which we could take here. It's another thing to find off of Stoneforge. And Arid Mesa does find red. We're in no way committed to being Esper just because of this one land. But we could also just take Virtue of Loyalty, which I'm kind of leaning towards, again, just like delaying the decision of what color to go into until we find something that is like really compelling. Like a Chainsaw is not that particularly. There's Infernal Grasp, which is a really nice removal spell if we're playing black. I don't really want to take Razorverge Thicket. I also don't really want to take Lava Spur Boots. It's just not that good of a card. So yeah, we'll take the Infernal Grasp. Nice. Shieldred Edict. Okay, I think we're just going to be black-white. Maybe with a blue splash, but probably not. We passed all the blue-white stuff. Black-white seems pretty nice, though. That's a couple good removal spells. Then, of course, we get this one. I'll take Kellen, I guess. This is making me want to be in red. There's a Thalia. Last pick, GT, is awesome. I think I'm inclined to just try to be black-white here. We got a couple really good cheap threats. We got a Clamp. Do want some more, like, and then 3 cheap removal spells. 4 cheap removal spells if you count the Judgment, which is nice. Solid Stoneforge package. Honestly, pretty good all around first pack. Wow, okay. So there's Psychic Frog. We have Rafine's Tower. We could just be full on Esper with Psychic Frog, which I would normally just happily take. But Palace Jailer is one of the few things that's, like, perhaps even as good as Frog, and also doesn't require us to, like, essentially add another color. Yeah, I would take the Psychic Frog over most stuff here, but I think Palace Jailer is one of the few that's worth taking even over the Frog. Very good card. Now we see a Johnny. Awesome. Would be better if we're playing red, but still, that's just like a great pickup. Maybe we could wheel Bitter Triumph or even Sorin. This could be a Sorin deck. But yeah, let's take the Johnny. And now, yeah, this deck looks great. The biggest problem now is just the curve being a little awkward. Very heavy on twos. We don't have enough one drops. I would love to get a Duress or some like one mana plays, which makes me maybe want to take Duress. Enduring Innocence is not that good. Static Prison is fine. We could also try to wheel one of those too. Yeah, I think I like just taking a Duress here. Now I'm gonna take probably just Marsh Flats. Bloodchief's Thirst is good, so is Cathar Commando, but I think taking a Marsh Flats has got to be right here. Yeah, that's just definitely the pick. Mana is starting to look solid. I would like to get a scrub land, a untapped black-white land to fetch on turn 1, but still pretty good start to the second pack. I would love to find Cloud to have a lot of redundancy for the Skull Clamp, and then we can really lean into that plan. I guess right now we really don't have many creatures. I mean, it's great with a Johnny, but outside of a Johnny, we don't have a lot of 1 toughness creatures, as in none of them. But I'm not too worried. It's still early in the draft. Interesting pack. Nothing super exciting. I think I'm just going to take Oust. And as we take Oust and Duress, we're moving into a bit more of a slow deck, which is fine. Like, you can be black-white in a slower build with more value. But, like, this gains them life. It's going to be kind of tough to aggressively beat them down if we're in this sort of shell. Okay, Cosmic Ground Zenith and Skyclave Apparition are both pretty good. This is in particular good with Skull Clamp. Do we think we can wheel one, though? Like, we could take Bauble and try to wheel one, and then either one that we wheel would be really good. With that said, though, I might just want to take the Skyclave. It's really strong. I like having both Skyclave and Palace Jailer together, and then Felia can flicker it. Bauble is just also not that good. I mean, if we could take Bauble, wheel this, and then I guess that's kind of solid, but I think I'd rather just take the Skyclave. Now I'll take the Blackbone Verge. Nice pickup. Skeleton Squadron is fine, but pretty replaceable. Alright, I don't think we want Recurring Nightmare. I could imagine a game where it's good, but I think I'd rather just take a Loran here. Another nice card that like enters, removes one of their things, and then is good to flicker with Felia. And this one also is good with Clamp. This deck looks great. I don't think we're balanced. Oh wait, yeah, Tidehollow Scholar. Great pickup. Yeah, I'll take that. I don't play black-white that often, so I almost just look through this card. But if you're in the colors for it, it's definitely good. I think it's the best version of this kind of effect. It's not that great of an effect, but still. All right, let's take a Sorin here. I think that's better than this. We don't have much life gain at the moment, but we do have Jite, and I think this is honestly worth trying. Another card that I haven't played with too much, but I think the upside is very high. It does require a bit of setup. And like extorting it twice, like the sort of base case for this is you attack, gain some life, and then extort twice, and then it flips. That's kind of hard to pull off, but not impossible. And then you can power it up with Clamp, Jite. There's other ways to do it too. Okay, Enduring Innocence versus Static Prison is pretty interesting. I think Static Prison is the right pick. I like Enduring Innocence, honestly. I think it's a pretty good card, but I think with the way this deck looks, with our strengths and weaknesses, I would much rather just have like a cheap interactive piece than another 3-mana card advantage engine. I'll take a Breakless Gearhulk and not play it. Ghost Vacuum is actually a nice pickup. That's a card that will be the best card of our deck in some matchups. I'm still thinking we don't have enough creatures for Thalia to be that great. Probably not playing either of these. Arena of Glory might be slightly more likely if we got a Flage. The Black Splash is kind of light, but I think it's good. Oh, nice. Last pick, Squadron. Probably worth playing. So best thing we could get by a lot would be just a Mox, especially an on-color one, but honestly, I would take any Mox here. I think Mox Pearl would be better than Black Lotus in this deck, although turn 1 Palace Jailer is nice. Outside of fast mana, would like some more 1-drops, like Mother of Runes, Giver of Runes, Ocelot Pride. The top tier 1-drops would be pretty nice for curve purposes. For removal, we're doing fine. I wouldn't mind a bit more. We have Oust, Portable Hole, Static Prison, Infernal Grasp, Shieldred's Edict. So 5, 1 or 2 spot removal spells, which is pretty good. Alright, nothing super good here. I mean, a lot of playable cards, but nothing that I'm thrilled with. I think the pick is Snuff Out. Very nice removal spell that's free, and in this deck we don't really have anything that pays life, so the life loss is not a problem at all. I would love Thraben Inspector, and we should be able to wheel one of these 3 white cards, all of which are playable. Flicker Wisp isn't that great. Well, it's solid now, but it will become a lot better if we can get either the white or the black Overlord. But I think here we do just want to take the Snuff Out. And now I think we take Godless Shrine. Cecil is fine, but not a card that I'm super high on. And Godless Shrine is great. Now we have a lot better mana with our multiple fetches. In fact, we might be able to just not play the Rafine's Tower. It depends on how the final build looks, and how many 1-drops we have, I guess. Here we have Adeline versus Lion Sash with another consideration for Soul Guide Lantern, or potentially Talon Gates of Madara. I'm kind of indifferent between Adeline and Lion Sash. Adeline is good. It does make 1/1 tokens, which are good with Clamp. Maybe Adeline's actually just great here. Yeah, we should probably take this. There would be more consideration of Soul Guide Lantern if we hadn't already taken Ghost Vacuum. So right now Stoneforge just finds GT or Clamp. That's fine. I would ideally like to have something that's a creature too, like something that comes attached to a body, like a Glimmer Lens, or maybe even wheeling the Lion Sash. That would be nice. Wow, excellent pack here. Luminarch, Aspirant, Emperor of Bones, and Thoughtseize all look really good. I think if I could only take one of those cards, I would go with Emperor of Bones, I would go with Thoughtseize. We could try to take Luminarch, Aspirant, and then wheel one of the black cards, but they're both pretty strong. I think we do just take the Thoughtseize here. Yeah, this card is very strong. Now we see nothing too good. There's Kitesail Freebooter, which is a fine disruptive piece. Deathrite Shaman would be better if we had green mana, which we don't. Voice of Victory is okay, but not that exciting. It does make red tokens for Ajani, which is some value, but I think they die at the end of combat. Oh no, at the end of the end step. Okay, that is actually somewhat relevant. They also are good with Skull Clamp. Yeah, maybe Voice of Victory is actually just pretty nice here. I'll take it. Whoa. Yeah, take. Now we see probably just Jacked Rabbit. Voidwalker is solid, but it's a little tough on the mana, and I like that this plays well with our equipments. Yeah, I'll take the Rabbit. We can play a fairly low land count, but we're going to have to make some cuts here. One option would be to cut some of the non-creatures and try to get back to a Thalia build. Yeah, I think both of these are kind of on my chopping block. Maybe Sorin 2. I would say this is the core of the deck that I really want to be playing. Maybe Securitron Squadron actually can be in that, especially if we're cutting some of our token makers. These are the cards that I would consider to be basically uncuttable. Smuggler's Copter versus City of Traders. I don't think we need to take Winds of Abandon here since we already have good removal. It's probably just Copter though. Copter is very, very strong. Yeah, let's take this. Mana Tithe, nice pickup. Don't think we really care about a Talisman. Late Nadu, but we're not in those colors. Yeah, definitely just going to take a Mana Tithe. We do wield the Thraben Inspector, which seems better than Flicker Wisp here. Alright, I like how these last few packs developed a lot. We cut some of the more replaceable stuff and added a bunch more at the bottom of the curve. Cecil, maybe good. I don't think it's that good. Maybe it is. I've never really played with this card much. I'll try it, I guess. I love the flavor of it. Oh, wow. Okay, Lion Sash Wheel, that's awesome. I think I will play it in the main deck because we have Stoneforge Mystic, which maybe means Cecil just gets the cut, and that's fine. Luminarch, Aspirant, and Emperor of Bones. Okay, I'll take the Emperor. That's a crazy card to see wheel. Very happy about that. Not going to play any of this stuff. So we need to make one cut if we're playing 15 lands. I think all of these ones are basically uncuttable. Could maybe move Lion Sash to the board. All this higher curve stuff I think is basically uncuttable. Yeah, I'll move Lion Sash to the board. It's not bad, but it's not that good in a lot of situations. Wow, last pick Figure of Destiny. I do kind of want to play that too. I don't think we go down to 15 to 14 lands though. That's way too aggressive. So we need to make one more cut. Maybe it is just Figure of Destiny. Yeah, we're leaning on the side of playing a bit more interaction, which I think is a good place to be. This gives us 12 white sources and 7 black sources. Seems good. Yeah, playing black-white aggro. Not an archetype I played too often, but it looks really good here. I think we have a good Stoneforge pack, like Skull Clamp, Stoneforge, and a lot of ways to find it. And then really good interaction with 2 cheap discard spells, Mana Tide, a bunch of cheap spot removal, including Snuff Out, high card quality with stuff like Palace Jailer. Just a really good deck. See you in round 1. On the play here for round 1 against Misha64. This hand is too risky, I think. I mean, it has a lot of interaction. I just don't think we can keep the one-lander, though. It's so close. Hate to have to mulligan it. This hand I'll definitely keep. Put back, I think, the Copter and just try to curve out with stuff that works with the Skull Clamp. And I think I will just deal myself 5 on turn 1 to get the second white source. And no, it's very unlikely that we find another black source that doesn't cast our stuff. Oh, whoa. Okay, so this is a little bit of a scary hand. We just got to take the Soul Ring here. If they want to play turn 1, got Robber of the Rich off of Lotus Petal, I don't care that much, honestly. We could just Infernal Grasp it. Playing against a fan, that's always fun. So gonna definitely just stick the Stoneforge. It means we don't have mana tied up, but I think it's really a high priority to get this into play. Partially to get the clamp, but then also just to set up the possible Adeline tokens if we can find another land. Not that we're that likely to hit a land though. We've already gone through 3, so we only have 12 left out of 31 cards. Not a situation where we have to draw it immediately, but okay, pretty happy to see them just using this currency converter. That's slow. Best draw would just be basic plains, I guess. Basic swamp would definitely punish us for fetching conservatively. Okay, they bolt the... Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Voice of Victory, good pickup. Bolt's gone. Yeah, we can just clamp up these tokens. Get to work. If they find a red source, they could double block the Voice of Victory, which is a little annoying. I would be thrilled if they attack here. I don't think they will. So... So this is awkward. I mean, if we attack planning to clamp the tokens, they can just double block and we lose our thing for nothing. We do get to draw 2 cards off of that, and that might just be a fine exchange, but I don't love it. Another option would be to put the clamp on the Voice, so if they block, it's a trade, but then they can just eat the tokens, take 2, and not really care. We could attack and Infernal Grasp something, but I think honestly I'm just going to clamp the token, let them kill this, and just try to develop and find land. I could imagine this being wrong. I don't love just losing the Voice of Victory, but if we can find a land, then we can double clamp. We can clamp the other ones too, and just be set on cards for the rest of the game essentially. So I'm gonna let this happen. It means we are falling behind on board, and it's like a calculated risk. If we don't find a land here, we get kind of punished. I mean, it's still possible that's just a game we would not be able to win either way if we are that far away from finding more lands. Oh, flipper-doo. That sucks. Yeah, I mean, 13 cards, still stuck on 2 lands. If we find... I mean, our hand is solid. We have a lot of good interaction. I think we can... I'm not sure exactly how we want to sequence it. Oh, they get a Felia. That's annoying. Does this say its owner? Yeah, okay, so we can take... If we draw a white source, we can Skyclave Apparition the Felia, and then we get the token when the apparition dies. But we might just be too far behind on the board at this point, honestly. I'm, like, afraid that... certainly if we don't draw a land here, where it's, like, almost over. Okay, I'll take it. And if we find another land, we could Emperor of Bones, Metamorphosis Fanatic, which would be kind of sweet. Not that good though. Like we don't have anything amazing to bring back. This is a situation where we actually have a ton to do with our mana, and we're just so constrained on mana. Like having all these equipment, but being mana screwed is not a great place to be. I'd rather just like efficient interaction, which we have some of. You know, Infernal Grasp is solid. We could just like equip the clamp to the Skyclave Apparition, hold up Infernal Grasp, and then the board is fairly stable. They're still just digging. I do kind of want to get this Emperor of Bones into play sooner rather than later. But, I mean, if they're playing Metamorphosis Fanatic, then they have some reanimation stuff, and getting to work on their graveyard would be nice. I will happily trade the Skyclave with anything here. They hit a Jacked Rabbit. Annoying, but let's just trade these off. We get a 2-2. Then I think I'm hoping to draw land and go Infernal Grasp the Jacked Rabbit, equip, clamp, hold up Mana Tithe. Or maybe we just want to play the Emperor of Bones. Yeah, that's probably best, actually. Portable Hole, sure. Let's Portable Hole the Jacked Rabbit since we get it back if something happens to the hole. Yeah, now I'll just get the Emperor down. Take out their Metamorphosis. And I'm going to leave this back to block. I don't want to block with the Emperor of Bones if we can avoid it. They might kill our Emperor, but even if they do, that's actually kind of a fine exchange. Like, we got to hit their graveyard and then trade 1 for 1. The board is stable. We still have a good removal spell in hand. We don't care too much about that. I guess losing Adeline is a bit annoying, but, like, yeah, it seems fine. Tersa's Light Shatter, okay. So I think I am fine double blocking here if they attack with Tersa. I'll just trade Illusion for their token if they attack without Tersa. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. So do this, take 3. But now like getting to just level up this Emperor of Bones, bring back Adeline seems insane. Or maybe even bring back Skyclave is better. Yeah, I think bringing back Skyclave is better. Let's just hit their Robber of the Rich, I guess. Then go adapt this, put Metamorphosis Fanatic into play. Bring back Skyclave Apparition and take out their currency converter. Then I'm going to attack with just the Fanatic, leave back the Emperor of Bones. They make a treasure token, really. Alright. Attack, and then just pass with Infernal Grasp up. I think that's better than just playing GTA. There's an argument to playing GTA or even equipping the Clamp, but like holding up Infernal Grasp is the safest line. And in this spot, we're ahead on board. Like we can afford to be a little bit safe, I think. Ooh, all right. I'll kill that, but it's a big thing. So we go to 8, untap. All right, now it seems like just a spot to equip up. And I kind of like the idea of just attacking with both for 7. Yeah, with the GTA counters, I'm not as worried about like we're gaining 3 life off of the life link, and then we're also gaining some life off the GTA if we need it. So I'm not too worried about getting burned out. It could happen, but I think trying to turn the corner here and apply pressure makes sense. If we had like 3 more cards in our hand, then I would probably leave back the Emperor and just play like super conservatively. But we don't have the clear win in the long game, and yeah, I just think this is the best line. We could go up to 15 life if we need to. They're also pretty far away from triggering their Tursa attack trigger. So they're playing like black-red, some aggression, some reanimation. I do think we want to bring in our Graveyard Hate of Lion Sash plus Ghost Vacuum. The Wandering Emperor could also be solid. So could Sorin. I'll go a little bit down on some of the more... like, I think on the draw, I might cut Duress. They have a bunch of stuff that we hit. Like, it was good this game to be able to Thoughtseize this Soul Ring for sure. But probably not a matchup in general where discard is the best thing to be doing. Maybe that's wrong. But for this game, I really don't see anything they could do. I mean, maybe if they swept the board, but then we still get to draw 2 off the Skyclave, and we have all this equipment going. Yeah, they say GG. Solid first performance from this deck, even though we were a little stuck on lands. So let's bring in this, bring in this. Then there's a bunch more maybes. Snuff Out seems fine. They do have some black creatures, but I think it's okay. I think I'm going to cut Jacked Rabbit. It's just a little clunky on the draw. It's actually kind of tempting to cut Skull Clamp, funnily enough. But also, it is good. It's a lot of good card draw. Can cut Duress, I think, and run it like this. Palace Jailer is a bit of a liability, but I think it's worth it to play it still. I mean, you know, if they have a bunch of haste creatures, we could get wrecked. Ooh, another one-lander, but we're on the draw this time, and it's so good if we do find a land. We also, even if we brick for a couple turns with 2 spot removal spells, we can catch up. I think I'm going to risk this. I mean, we have 14 draws, so it's like... yeah, it's probably low 70s. I think I'm going to keep reluctantly. I mean, just on the, you know, having our 2 incredible threats plus 3 cheap interactive spells, and we're on the draw. I think I'm going to hold up Mana Tithe rather than playing Ghost Vacuum here. It's close, and in general, it's like dicey to hold up mana when you're so constrained on mana. But I don't want them to just like stick some 2 mana. You know, if they just play Robber of the Rich even, and we just don't have any answers to it, and it's like drawing cards and stuff, that's pretty bad. Well, yeah. Very glad we held up the Mana Tithe. I mean, we could have also just let that... well, wait. We could have let that resolve and then tried to tie their reanimation spell and then Ghost Vacuum to take up their thing. That's interesting. I think it's still best to just, like, take their thing out, though. Oh, jeez. Okay, well, really, really hoping to find a black source. Portable hole, can't complain. If we find a black source soon, we're in really good shape, or we just get to, like, trade off 1 for 1 a couple times, and then have a great value hand. But we do need to find it pretty soon. That is good. But if we find a black source, we can kill both of their things. They hit a Copter, which is great. They can't cast it, and we would just die if we drew that, I think. Swamp. Yes. So we're going to be taking 6 damage here. I don't love that, but I think it is our only real course of action here. Maybe we could play it. No, we can't. I was thinking we could play a Johnny just like and block the Robber of the Rich and just kill the Broadside Bombardiers, but but yeah, I don't want to let them get the Smuggler's Copter. Infernal Grasp here, putting me 9. Then Snuff Out, putting me to 5. Pretty scary against the red deck. I don't think our odds are good this game, but it's not over. Okay, no play is good. I think I'm actually going to get... I'm just going to go Thraben Inspector plus Ghost Vacuum here rather than playing one of my other threats. The other threats are probably better, but like... I mean, Stoneforge is clunky. That doesn't do enough. I think Johnny does put more blockers into play, but I like getting the Ghost Vacuum down. Just turns off a lot of the scarier things they could be doing. Currency Convert. Okay, like Ghost Vacuum kind of shuts that down, or... I mean, not really, because I am going to be using it end of turn here. Take out your Bombardiers. Nice. That's definitely a good draw. If we hadn't drawn that, I think I would have played a Johnny if we only had 2 mana, but I want to be as mana efficient as possible here. I'm going to just grab the Clamp. And then next turn we can have Johnny plus Equip and be in a really good spot, potentially. Yeah, I think we can attack for 1 here. I like the idea of leaving back blockers for hasters, kind of, but we still have 1 back. I think this is fine. So I am going to take the bait and exile whatever they discard here, keeping them off of a treasure token. It could mean that they have a chance to reanimate something. But then next turn, we can really get the engine going. Play a Johnny, equip the token, draw 2, flip a Johnny. I think I'm just going to go for this main phase, see if we're drawing a land. They could kill a Johnny in response if they want to. That's still like a pretty good exchange for us though. They're using a removal spell and we get to draw 2 cards. Alright, nice, that works. They could have also killed the token to deny the card draw, but then we still get to flip a Johnny. Nice. I'm not going to just draw more cards. I think I'm going to do it like this. Attack for dose. Leave back 2 blockers, which is perhaps too conservative now that we have like... No, but I think it makes sense. I think it makes sense. They don't use the currency converter end of turn. That feels wrong. Hardcast a 6-drop. What? Metamorphosis Fanatic? Crabomination. Alright. So we could exile something from our own graveyard, but I'm not really afraid of any of these cards. I really just don't want them to hit Palace Jailer. Of course they do. I think we're still probably winning. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. They take out our token. Makes sense. It's gone for good, and it takes away some of our Skull Clamp card draw. Let's take out the Robber of the Rich. I think we can just send in the Stoneforge Mystic pretty well here. And they don't really have a great option. They don't... I mean, they could eat it and just let us draw 2, which I guess is what they'll do. Okay, so let's just make a dude. And play Loren. to kill their currency converter. And then I think we just pass with Felia up, because Felia is great here. We can use Felia to flicker the Palace Jailer, take back the Monarchy, and also take out their Crabomination. If they attack, I think we're blocking with Thraben Inspector. Still a 5. We could still lose it at any time. If they have Fiery Confluence, that's just game over immediately. If they have Fire Covenant, they could force the chump block with Felia and be in a very good position. We should also note the fun line of, like, we can crack the Ghost Vacuum next turn, potentially. Like, eat this, put 3/1/1 with flyers into play, including a Bombardiers. And I think each card would keep its original mana cost, so we could, like, sack the Stoneforge for 4. They attack with both. Interesting. Okay, I think I will accept trading down a bit. Like, I like the idea of flickering the Palace Jailer, but I think I'm fine with also just killing it. We could even do the same Ghost Vacuum line, which we may want to do here. There's the Fanatic, okay. Yeah, I think Ghost Vacuum is just the play. It's kind of awesome. So now we go land, sack the Ghost Vacuum. Palace Jailer to take out their Fanatic. Oh, now we have red permanents too. Are they just dead? Wow, yeah, that's crazy. Ghost Vacuum was very good there. All right, sweet. So we take down round 1 against a fan. Very nice guy. Misha64, if you watch this, I think you're an amazing person, and I hope we play again. And also, I hope we meet in person once. I have a good Magic group that I've made in Chicago, starting with someone that recognized me on the train. I was coming back from the airport, and this guy just came up to me on the train and was like, hey, like, you make YouTube videos, right? You Benny Hills? And it was awesome. And we're, like, good friends now. We hang out a lot. Kind of different stages in life. Like, he has a couple kids, so we're not hanging out every weekend, but we hang out once most months and do a draft, and it's just a fun way to build a little community. So I guess that's to say, if anyone lives in Chicago, please let me know. All right, we are on the play here for round 2 against Jedji. Yikes, another one of these one-landers. I'm not going to keep it on the play. This hand sucks. Even if we draw a land, it's not very good. If we draw 2 lands, I think, honestly, we can have better ones on 5. And now we go to 4. Okay. Finally, we have a hand we can keep. We need to keep these 3 for sure. What is the last card we keep? I think Loran, probably. Or maybe Duress. No, I think like keeping a 1-for-1 trade when we're on a mull of 4 is just like not gonna work. This gives us like a real chance. Like if Loran is good, we're able to flicker that a couple times. That's a way we could certainly win. Of course, we need a lot to go right. We need to hit our 3rd land drop. We need them to not have just like a good hand lined up well against ours. Discard Brain Freeze. Whoa. All right. Try to get our little value here. Nice. Okay, I'm just going to play this so we can, like, nothing to kill, but we can flicker it to grow our Felia, and then also just, kill stuff later. Alright, I mean, I guess this is going well. Could fall apart pretty quickly if they play a delayed blast fireball. The game is basically, or like just a even just a removal spell on Felia. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to. We'll start by attacking with Felia, flicker their token. Then I'm kind of tempted to just main phase draw here, honestly. I think I will. I don't mind hitting a land. And like I'll just use this to let us each draw a couple times. 4 versus 7 is a big disadvantage, but if it's like, if this draws us each 3 cards, 7 versus 10, the ratio is a lot less skewed. So Brain Freeze, Lion's Eye Diamond, they're playing Storm. Should be a pretty good matchup, honestly. Even though winning game 1 on a mull to 4 may be tough. Dak Faden. Let's tie this. Yeah, I mean, it's actually not that scary. We could even let it resolve and save the Mana Tithe, but I don't know how likely it is that we're going to get a good Mana Tithe opportunity later. Right, I'm just going to have each player draw now. Then swing, flicker Loran. They're down to 12. This Felia is becoming kind of a problem for them. Fury. That is too bad. Yep. I guess I wish I'd saved the Mana Tithe. I think this is an aggressive attack. I wouldn't probably have done that if I were them. Ooh. Okay. So this is risky. I'm going to do it. If they take back the Monarchy, they get another Fury trigger, and it's going to be very hard for us to beat that. But we have 2 blockers. If they have Glorybringer, that would be really bad. But we're good against most stuff they could have here, and now we have a real plan. Like now, before our plan was just like hope that they somehow can't beat a single Felia. Now we have a real game plan, though. We also need to make sure we win before they find Underworld Breach, though. So we might need to try to up the pressure. It's also, I guess, a little dicey to be using Loran much more than... Yeah, I think we're probably off of using Loran now. Workshop, whoa. The One Ring. Don't love that. Do we want to take it out? Probably. I really don't like doing that. When they're at a low life total, especially. Okay. Yeah, I think we need to take out the One Ring, unfortunately. Very hard to see a way we win this, though. Because now we just don't have any pressure, and we can't Thoughtseize them, right? Yeah. We are still the Monarch, but they're just going to find their thing soon. They can also use, they can potentially take back the Monarchy with Legion Extruder plus Seasoned Pyromancer. What is this? Jeez. Upheaval. Not the worst upheaval ever. The problem is we don't have any fast mana, so we can't really get off to a quick start here ourselves. I'm not sure if they have red mana for Legion Extruder. That's the card we don't want to see. Yeah, they do. Okay. They can't make... I guess they can't make a token this turn. They don't play the Extruder. Whoa. Oh, nice. Good. That's a good draw. I think I just want to take that out. I think we can pretty safely just discard a couple planes. So playing a Johnny here, how does that look? I think it is the right line. They can play the Legion Extruder. I'll take my 2-1 with them at only 9 life. Jackrabbit's a nice one. Fable, alright. So let's go. I think I'm going to Thoughtseize this turn. So let's start by taking out their thing. Maybe it's better just to play Jackrabbit, though. Yeah, I think I'd actually rather just get another threat into play. Reason being, like, they're going to get to loot anyways. Like, if we Thoughtseize them, they're going to see 3 new cards by their next turn. So, like, they're still going to have plenty of good stuff they could find. I'd sort of rather Thoughtseize after they have their card filtering turn. We just die if they find Underworld Breach, and they've gone through a lot of their deck, but they're almost dead on board. I mean, we can't quite kill them on board next turn. Okay, so they now have tons of mana. Emperor of Bones would be really nice to take out the Brain Freeze. They now have as much mana as they could ever need. They can play their Legion Extruder to take out our Jackrabbit. I guess we shouldn't F6. We could be playing something. Oh. There's nothing we can do about this. We can kill this in response, but they still get infinite mana. So, I'm just gonna... I mean, yeah, there's no point in doing something about this here. They have Zerda in play and Lutri as a companion. I mean, what can they do? I mean, I'll concede to a Walking Ballista or something. Alright, they don't have the Walking Ballista yet. That's good. They're holding Legion Extruder and 2 unknowns. Not sure what they could be doing this for. I mean, maybe they're just going to play Occult Epiphany to draw their whole deck and then play an infinitely large ballista. Oh, Coveted Jewel. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they have infinite mana, and now they have whatever colored mana they need as well. Again, I think this is actually probably a pretty good matchup, but we mulled a 4 this game. Pretty tough to win on a mull of 4. We can bring in Thalia, Lion Sash, Pivotar, and Ghost Vacuum. Pivotar deck to be a little bit like more aggressive and disruptive, with a little bit less like card advantage value type stuff. All right, they're still digging. I mean, that's got to be a good sign. If you want to be a jerk, I would never do this. Maybe I shouldn't even say it then. Oh, nice. Okay. Wait, that's just GG1. Whoops, I said GG's. But all right, so tough game. We were in a solid spot. But yeah, I think we were just like a little too anemic there. Let's bring in Lion Sash. Let's bring in Thalia. Let's bring in Ghost Vacuum. I think I will play the Snuff Out. I'll bring out the Jite. That doesn't seem like it's very good. This removal seems fine, not that great. Maybe we can cut like Oust and go for more instant speed removal. Even Palace Jailer doesn't seem amazing, but I think it is worth playing. I like the Copter. Maybe we just cut like Infernal Grasp. Yeah, I'd rather like my removal that can hit other stuff too. Yeah, we'll run like this. So hoping for an aggressive and disruptive draw. This is the kind of matchup that's so much easier if you have a power. Alright, I will keep this. We don't have a creature to crew the Copter yet, but I like having turn 1 Thoughtseize and turn 2 Copter. That's should be some good pressure. And as soon as we find one creature, which our deck is mostly creatures, then we should be good from there. Okay, I think we just take the Underworld Breach immediately. Like, this card is just terrifying. They don't have Brain Freeze yet, but, like, yeah, that's just gotta be the right pick. Alright. Play the Copter. I guess we should probably have just played Swamp to fetch to Thin there. Doesn't really matter. Okay, I don't want to... Oh, nice. That's a good draw. I was going to say I don't want a Static Prison here, but now we have a line that doesn't make us do that. I think Lion Sash actually might be better here. Yeah. Okay, we'll discard Plains. And do we actually want to Static Prison this after all? No. They're just going to Legion Extruder the Stoneforge here. Like, if we could really pressure them, there's an argument to holding off. Seasoned Pyromancer, okay. That's kind of interesting. That's also interesting. Let's start with Crewing. Swing. I think that's probably our worst card. Then we will play Lion Sash, but we can play it in this way so that we can grow it out of the range of their Legion Extruder if they try to kill it. And then we'll either be growing our Lion Sash or playing Felia end of turn, hopefully playing Felia. So next turn they will have mana for Coveted Jewel, which is pretty scary. Dak Faden. That's actually fine with Felia. They steal the Copter, okay. I think I'm pretty comfortable shocking here. I want to get another white source with Lion Sash in play, and I think getting the second black source is reasonable. Now let's go to combat. Actually, no, let's play Clamp first. Clamp up the Felia. No, I'll clamp the Stoneforge. Attack them with both and Dak with this. Flicker the Smuggler's Copter so we get it back. Oh, I tapped poorly here. Yeah, I tapped very poorly. Let's eat their Breach. Pass turn, we get our Copter back. They do get Coveted Jewel though now. But yeah, so I guess our mishapping was just not holding up Lion Sash. We could have taken out their Seasoned Pyromancer here, which would actually be a big deal. So that hopefully does not come back to bite us, but it could. We also can't grow the Lion Sash out of Legion Extruder now. Jeez, yeah, that was really bad tapping to leave this swamp up. So we know their hand. They need to play Coveted Jewel and get lucky, I guess. Yeah, Lion Sash down. I guess they can just, yeah, they just leave Seasoned Pyromancer up now. Interesting draw. Let's start by playing Voice of Victory. Go for the Dak. And then do we want to play Static Prison on anything here? No, they could just sack it to the Legion Extruder. That seems too bad. So now I guess their plan is just to play Coveted Jewel now with a better, like more robust defenses. They also drew the workshop, so I mean, yeah, this is kind of scary. We should be able to take back the Coveted Jewel in our turn, especially with Immobilize ability, but they might be able to really go off before then. We just don't want to see Displacer Kitten. Faithless Looting is fine. Yeah, this if we lose this game, I think it will be because we let the Lion Sash die there by not tapping our Swamp to play whatever we play that turn. Walking Ballista would be pretty good here. It'd be a 3/3. I think we could still probably make it work. You know, you just like play Palace Jailer and don't crew the Copter until after we've removed the Ballista. I think we're in a good spot here unless they have some sort of weird sequence, you know, like a Time Walk type sequence. I don't think they would be able to set up any Storm kills here. I mean, Brain Freeze is scary and Coveted Jewel is good, but okay, they discard Zerta. I guess I'm happy to see Zerta go. Karn, sure. That's not scary. Whoa. Okay, I'll give you the Fable. Alright, so let's... I wanted to draw a land there. They do also have Legion Extruder up, notably. Yeah, they can just sack the Coveted Jewel. That's kind of annoying, actually. So, what's our plan? I mean, I think I need to Static Prison the Karn. If we're Static Prisoning the Karn, then we don't have mana for Palace Jailer. Let's start by attacking their face with this for 3. So they sack the Jewel, yep. Make it 3/3. We loot. Adeline is interesting. So do we need? We could just get rid of the Ghost Vacuum. Yeah, I mean the Ghost Vacuum lets us take out the Faithless Looting, which I would like to do, but I think this is a bit better. So now we'll Static Prison, take out the Karn, playing this first to play around Daze, which I don't expect them to have, but they could. Then we'll play the Adeline, which is a huge dude, and then we're well set up to next turn, either like if not killing them, just making a huge attack that they really have to worry about. They can play Fable, we don't really care. Walking Bliss is gone. Oh no, did they find their Upheaval? Upheaval would be, I mean, it's always devastating, and it's much worse when you just played Static Prison, because they can get back their Karn. Brutal. Okay, I don't know if this is a beatable position. They're at 9. Maybe. No, not with them also having the Fable, though. Yeah, I don't think this is beatable. Take a draw. Static Prison. Man, them finding the Upheaval is tough. Discard, discard, discard. But I don't really think there's anything we can do here, right? Like, they're going to attack us for 6. They still have Legion Extruder in their hand. Yeah, they got us. All right, so we followed artifacts in game two, just upheavaled twice. I mean, game one we rolled a four and then they upheavaled. Game two we got to keep seven, but they still upheavaled, and that's a pretty tough thing to beat. I guess we could try to just have like more ways to disrupt them. We do have some discard. We have three ways to attack their hand, but like, and we thought in that game, but obviously you need to also have a lot of pressure to finish them off. That was a long game with a lot of decision points, and I'm sure we could have done something more precisely, but not quite. I'll see you in the finals. On the draw for the finals against Blink TX 411. A little bit of a land heavy hand, which is the opposite of what we've mostly had. I think I am going to keep it like 5 lands, 2 spells, not ideal. Like 3/3 would be better, I think. But we have an interactive spell, a threat, both of our colors. I think it is just good enough. But now our opponent gets to see our embarrassing keep. I think I'm just going to snuff this out immediately. Like, normally you want to save, like, kill something bigger, but in this spot I think it does make sense to just, like, attack the resources, try to trade down. We have another removal spell. We don't know their hand, but they also could be, like, really leaning on this bird. If they just go land 2 more birds, then I'll wish that I had gone for their payoffs instead of their mana development. Really hate to draw planes there. I'm going to hold up Felia rather than Infernal Grasping this. I mean, I would like to continue to deny their resources, but I think resolving our own Felia is more important. And then that also just opens up a lot of good draws. Like if we find Skyclave Apparition, that goes from being pretty good to being incredible now that we found the Felia, or now that we're like playing the Felia. Okay. That's fine. So don't have any attacks. Too bad they saw our hand. I mean, they might have played around this either way, but still too bad. This is like kind of marginal, doesn't really matter, but it gives us the possibility to do Infernal Grasp as they re-equip if we want to. Which, like, low-key, maybe we do. You know what? I'm just going to do this. I wouldn't have done this if I didn't have Mana Tithe, but, like, denying their resources when we have Mana Tithe does seem pretty relevant. It's possible we just really blew these 2 too early, and now we're just going to die to, like, a 3/4. But I think with the Mana Tithe in hand, denying their mana makes sense. Yeah, I mean, that worked out really well. It's still just been 3 1-for-1 trade. Oh, no, that's a 2-for-1 trade, kind of. Jite. Wow. Nice. All right. We're in it. We're in it. Ha! And they concede. All right. Sure. So they're playing just green creatures. Probably not the best matchup for us. I don't think any of our grave or like sideboard stuff is going to be good. The Wandering Emperor could maybe be fine. I think we're just going to run it back. Actually, what am I saying? This should be a good matchup. Duress is probably actually not a card we need. Maybe we cut the Duress for Virtue of Loyalty. Just a little bit more like of a threat dense build. Duress is pretty likely to whiff on the draw. On the play, we could bring it back in so that we could potentially snipe a Mox or anything like that. Now I feel like a jerk for saying this and then sort of stomping them, but the top of our deck was pretty kind. Great hand. Definitely keeping. Not sure which one of our plays we want to develop on turn 2. Maybe just Tidehollow, though. Like, lead with a Disruption, and then we could go like turn 3, Stoneforge, or I guess it's kind of awkward because I would love to be able to attack with Voice of Victory and make with Stoneforge, or like having gotten Clamp as early as possible. Best draw is probably just Thoughtseize here, which I would happily play turn 1 over the Inspector. We just draw the Clamp naturally. Okay, sure. Gonna still lead on the Inspector. Then yeah, I think I'm just gonna get this Tidal Sculler into play now. Magda. Alright. Okay, that's kind of annoying because if we don't take the Pest Infestation, they can just Pest Infestation us for value. So I guess I will take the Pest Infestation, and then they just Chain Lightning this, and it's not a great exchange, but I think it's fine. Although maybe we were supposed to let them Pest Infestation so that they don't kill the Skull Clamp. That actually could be better. If they just play Nadu, that's fine. We'll let that happen. Untap, and I really don't want to play the Clamp until after the Pest Infestation is gone. So I'm not going to play that this turn. They attack, that's interesting. Pretty happy to just trade that off with this. They do get the treasure token, so it's not like they get no value out of that, but I think that's a good exchange for us. Now they play Tropical Island. I guess these traded where I got a clue and they got a treasure. Hard to say which one's better. Ours is like Tamio, theirs is like Ragavan. So there's the Nadu. Don't love just jamming Voice of Victory here, but I think it is probably the best bet, and just don't play Clamp. You could play Stoneforge and grab GT, but GT is so bad against Nadu. Yeah, I think this is the best bet. And then next turn, I guess they'll just go land. If they have land, they can go land, kill Tide Hollow. Oh, no, they don't have Pest Infestation in their hand. So they might go like Chain Lightning, kill Tide Hollow, get back their thing, then Pest Infestation, kill the Clue, but then we get to get the Clamp going. Lotus Petal, alright. Alright, that is pretty scary. So we take 7. We can afford to take one more hit like that, but not too much more, especially with them when they have Chain Lightning. So I think I am going to just go for a Skull Clamp line this turn. It doesn't play to the board as well as other lines, but I think just like getting all this card draw is going to be worth it. Would love to find a play we could make, of course. Okay, I don't really want to be playing this here and giving them a Nadu trigger. I'll just put this here and like sort of bait the Chain Lightning. Or like be okay against the Chain Lightning. If they hit us for 7 here, I think we just take it. If they Chain Lightning this, they get the Pest Infestation back, but we get to draw 2. We could maybe find Snuff out to take out one of their dudes. I think we know their exact... Oh no, we know 2 of their cards plus the one they just... And then they just top decked 1. Yeah, I'm just going to take the 7 here. Don't want to throw away the Tide Hollow Scholar for 1 life and 2 cards. Down to 5. Mindstone, okay. Do they chain lightning this color? No, they don't. Right, I'm gonna attack again. I mean, this is like maybe greedy, but I want to find some more cheap interaction. That is not what I had in mind. Um, then I guess we just go land. We need to take this out, or we just die. So we'll play this. Target the Nadu. Oh wait, they have a Goldspan Dragon? Jeez. Okay. Go to discard pitch Arid Mesa. And then our plan is to go Manatide. I mean, we might just get wrecked. But if they don't find an untapped land, we could go Manatide their Goldspan Dragon and then play this at instant speed to double block their Ultimate Oddity, clearing the board. And then we're still at 5 and they have Chain Lightning. It's like very far from over. They also are about to have Sheldock Isle. But that gives us like, we're good against what they have currently. Yeah, great to be able to Manatide this. We also have to worry about the Static Prison coming back, or like leaving soon. That's fine. So double block this. And then I guess we get GT going. Although the problem with GT is they have Pest Infestation in their hand now. But that is kind of stretched thin already. I'm kind of thinking we still want to wait a turn though. So let's say yes. Let's attack. Clamp. Okay, I think it seems pretty good to Portable Hold the Mind Stone, just cut their mana. Then we'll go land, Smuggler's Copter, and pass, planning to Felia end of turn. They're also down to 11. And only down to 3 lands. The problem is they have this Sheldock Isle too, which is pretty scary. I don't know what's under it, but I don't really want to know. If it's just Pest Infestation for 1, yeah, that's such a weak line. That doesn't even make sense to go for that one because they were gonna get the Nadu back either way. I'll take it though. End of turn Felia. Untap. Okay, I think we just hard cast that. Don't like giving them the trigger, but not really a way around that. Seeka's Chariot's fine. Then let's go. What's the best line here? I think it's just play Jackrabbit as a 2/3 crew, attack, flicker a token. Then they can put us to 1 on board, but not 0. And I like that this is putting real pressure on too. I don't want to give them too much time. All right, they take it all down to 3. We pass. We are going to. I mean, we're at 1 essentially, and they're playing red. They only have 1 red source though, so even if they find another burn spell, oh no, I guess they could just cycle Oliphant to find their other red source. I can't believe they haven't cycled Oliphant yet. All right, sweet. Take that down. So we do lose round 2, but won every single other game. Deck was great, just like classic blue, like white based deck of pretty quick clock with a low curve and a lot of interaction. We had some issues with like mana screw and mana flood, which is kind of going to be the nature of the beast when you don't have any draw smoothers like having lore and reveal type cards. But still, this deck is great. I think this archetype broadly is one of the best decks. Like base white deck, splashing another color for some powerful disruption. And yeah, very sweet league. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.